So welcome back. Welcome to the second module of our employee experience course. Today, what we're going to do is actually very, very important to the overall journey that we're on. And one of the understandings of how things change and how we transform ourselves is to really start with acknowledging the reality, acknowledging really what is going on in our lives today. And that's not always easy because often it's sort of buried deep within ourselves. So to go to those sort of more delicate places within ourselves and to express the honestly how we're feeling and our emotional state, and to bring this radical honesty to the surface, it's a huge step in the transformational journey, because it's only once it's been revealed and brought to the surface that we can actually start working with it and start this process of evolving the way that we engage with ourselves and our relationship with the work that we do. So in this particular module, we're going to be practicing this radical honesty, this radical openness, this radical connection with our deeper emotions and feelings. The second module is all about downloading how we are experiencing work today without any filters, just a raw, transparent account of what it's like today to be in the workforce. And Peter is going to give us a flavor of that. It's not based on his experience today because he's no longer in that situation, but it's based on how he experienced parts of being in the workforce, a number of years ago.
Office jokes are always quite rude, and in New Zealand anyway, and nothing to do with feelings, or it's just either very sarcastic, very insulting. You don't grow in the environment, And it was just boring. It was just go to work, And of course, the only incentive at the end is the biggest incentive at the end is the performance review, and then annually, and to see whether you get a raise or not, and how many pat on the backs you get for the outcomes, but not who you are, not how happy you are. Yeah, in my days, meetings are fixed. There's no growth mindset. Meetings especially, you don't go to a meeting with a growth mindset, you go to a meeting with a fixed mindset of what you're going to say, and worrying about, negative feedback when you say something and so on. And of course, in those days, and I won't mention that, but in those days, it's very, very discriminatory and racist.
Mm.
It's true, because the bias is so strong.
This is really good, Peter. I think this is such a, this is really the essence of module 2, right? Where we want to invite people to really download and share their reality of how they experience work today, without any filters, to make it as real as possible, and to get those feelings off your chest, right? To download it, and to move it from, it's sitting inside of you, to put it down on a piece of paper, and to be able to look at it, and to be able to actually see what's going on and how you're experiencing things, because that's the way that you can start to shift you led by example, right? You just jumped in and, laid out how you felt, right, in that environment. And I think that's a big step to do. And because you have to really connect with those emotions first, right? It's not, it came from quite an emotional place, a lot of the things that you shared. So I think that is also the invitation that we have for people joining this course, is to spend some time connecting with those emotions. You said anger. Anger is it's a very powerful emotion, right? Frustration, anger, but it's also something that sometimes we want to shy, we want to kind of push it away, right? Because it's scary, not go there, but instead to actually connect with it and say, where does that anger live within me? What is it about? What am I angry about? And to be able to express that, articulate that, I think is a very, very powerful experience. And similarly, the other side is also very important, right? Is what am I grateful for today? And this, I think, is also very much part of this second module, is also to be able to lay out the things that are actually working, the things that you can step back from and say, this is good. This is good. I'm grateful for this. This is a positive aspect of my experience at work. And I think we're wired in a way where the mind maybe more quickly goes to the things that aren't working. So, to very intentionally take a moment to also tune into what is working, I think is a very powerful thing. So that's also the invitation, I think, for people.
Gratitude is, for example, my own stories, in terms of adversity, all right, I had to really consciously steer myself to look at surrendering, right, and not just be overwhelmed by the adversity to a point where you are getting desperate and being feeling this despair. I had to latch on to that very small but difficult window of how can I better respond to this, and why, why is it happening, and what positive can I take out of that? And one of the first sharing is basically, to say that, hey, look, this could be a real shift in the way I look at my adversity and its relationship with the rest of the world that are more important than focusing, but also accepting, right? So it includes all the struggles you go through physically, mentally, and bodily, but there is always a light there that I can also work towards, and which I committed to, right? And in the end, I was there was a very good counterbalance between distress and light. And there was a space, call it liminal space if you like, where you had to really step into not knowing what each day brings, right? That space that you step into, and that's the space where anyone can step into if they are able to see the two sides of either a major adversity or a simple challenge, like anger, right? my boss came to me today, and I was really angry because he said something that was not true about me. All right. It's the same thing. It's adversity. It affects me, you know. I imagine it will affect me emotionally. Then I say, yes, okay, I'm angry. I acknowledge that. And I'm going to find a way to maybe rebut, but I also want to step back, right? And look at what positives can I take out of this, you know, encounter that my boss, you know, had with me. Maybe it's an opportunity for both my boss and myself to learn how to, you know, respect and trust each other more.
Yeah, I think we've really done a beautiful job, Peter, capturing a lot of this modules too. So thank you, Peter, for really, I think, you know, just going into this so authentically, you know, and sharing your experience like that. I think it's really wonderful, and it's this kind of thing that goes a long way in terms of strengthening the bond with the participant, you know, and inviting them to do the same thing, right? Because I think we have to role model this. We have to really walk the talk, and I think that is going to make it easier for people to also go on a journey like this.